everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today we're actually building a small home or a tiny home in Brindleton Bay, which came with the cats and dogs pack. We're building on the lot that's Dachshund's Creek. Funny thing is, I have a Dachshund. He's a mix, but he's part Dachshund, so I was like, oh, I'm just gonna build on this lot because I love the name. But I also just wanted to build a tiny home because I didn't want to do like a giant build and like I always end up doing big houses and I'm like, oh, then it's gonna take me forever to like put it together and put all the stuff in it. So I figured if I did a tiny home, it would limit to me like how much I can actually put in the house and make me not overdo it with like clutter and furniture and stuff. So I figured I just wanted to limit myself to this build. But as you could see in the beginning, the build is actually already done. I did the structure of the house, like I built the house and I did all the siding and the windows and everything because that usually takes me like the longest time trying to figure out how I want the house to look and what siding I'm going to use and the colors scheme I'm going to go with. So I figured I would just start this build right off the gate with like it being done. So that's why you guys didn't have to sit through all that figuring out of how I wanted it to go because I honestly didn't know how I wanted this house to look. And it took me forever to get it together and figure out like how I wanted the house and like did I want this little greenhouse that I ended up going with or not. So I just figured I could just start the build right away with it just being already done and then just furnishing it, decorating it, and doing landscaping and all that. And you guys just get to see the pretty part. but but yeah, I didn't want to end up doing another black and white house because it seems like I always do that color scheme. Like, I never do colorful houses. I don't know, I just like neutrals and I like black and white and I just like the way it looks. But I ended up finding this siding, which I believe is from the Seasons pack, and it's like this stone, but with this green siding, like paneling on the top. And I just loved that green color, and I just thought it went really well because in my head, this house was for a sim that loves gardening and loves nature and all that kind of stuff. So I just thought the green was like perfect. And then they have like just the plain stone wallpaper that matches it. So I did that around like the greenhouse part and kind of like this entranceway. So I just figured like it was just like perfect. Like it was just the perfect color. But yeah, anyway, here you could see that I did like a little pond area in between the house because I wanted this like little like walk through like that you walk from the house to this greenhouse, which is going to be on the left with all those windows. So I figured like a little pond like against the house just was like a cute little, I don't know, thing for the sim. Like I said, I wanted them to be like a gardening sim, one that loves planting and loves nature. So I just thought a pond was like perfect, and I figured I never really do them up against a house. I usually just do them like in the corner, or I mean, I guess sometimes I do a house like on top of it, but I just thought this little tiny like spot for a pond was just perfect. So I don't know, I just tried something new. But here I'm just doing the backyard. I won't, like I said, the sim is a gardening sim in my mind. I mean, you could do whatever you want. But I did like a nice gardening spot, and then I wanted it to be farming, so I added like the cow shed and the chicken shed because I end up making this home that special like where it's like simple living where they have to use their own ingredients to a lot challenge. That's what I was trying to think of. A lot challenge where it's simple living and they have to like use their own ingredients that they farm and they grow to make their own food. So I just figured it was perfect to have all these like gardening plots in the backyard and having the chickens and the cow and all that because then they can, get their own milk, their own eggs, their own produce, and they can do their own cooking. Um, but yeah, I did the backyard with this like terrain paint that looks a little bit like dead, like grass, because I figured the backyard is where their sim is going to spend the most time. So I figured it was like walked through a ton and like just used so much. So I figured like the front I had like this pretty green because, I wanted the house to look pretty. But then the back I wanted to look more lived in. Like your Sim's constantly back there gardening and farming and the animals are walking around and all that. And you won't have a pretty green yard with, all that animals. And I do end up adding a dog in this too because of course it's Dachshund's Creek. So my Sim that I have in my game, I added a dachshund. So I figured, dogs pee all over the place. So there's going to be dead grass. But yeah, anyway, here I'm just decorating the front. I put in a lot of like greenery, a lot of plants, a lot of flowers because I figured, like I said, this sim, that's what I had in my mind. But like I added this pathway, like to this little swing set because this house, I'd have one bedroom, but it's for a adult sim. Mine's a female, but you can do whatever you want. And a child. I did a toddler. If there's a toddler bed in there, but you can change it to a child's bed or maybe even a bunk bed, whatever you guys want to put in there. But I just figured this house was like for like a single mom with her toddler or, whatever you want. So I added this little swing set and then like later on I'll put like a little slide attached to it and I kind of like put it against it so it looks like it's like, one big set, like a toddler thing you usually buy. But yeah, I just put these like flowers in the middle because I just wanted to break the path up a little bit and I didn't want it to look like weird. So I figured these flowers in the middle just kind of added that like breakup of the yard. Like, over here is a little sitting area, over there is a swing set. So yeah, I just added a ton of flowers and greenery because I just figured that was like felt this build well. And by this tree, I really wanted to do like a little bench eating area, but the bench just looked really awkward in this spot and it just wasn't fitting right. So the I just decided to do a single bench, like just a little seating area, and I add like a little lighting in the back just to light it up a bit and make it look just like a spot maybe your sim likes to go sit and read or whatever they want to do, and then just this little birds watering, what do you call it? Oh my god, I can't think of any of the names, but that and like a little bird feeder, which I believe also came with seasons, where you can actually like add bird seeds to it, I believe, and you can actually feed the birds. I mean, not physically, but I think like it's like comes with seeds out of it, and that your Sims can actually like fill it up and watch the birds like eat out of it. But I just thought that was cute. So back onto the backyard, I added those sprinklers, which are also from the seasons pack, because I find they help really well with gardening and they just water your plants constantly. So I just figured that was like a good thing for the sim just to kind of like help them out so they're not constantly back there having to water their plants. And I kind of do that a lot with my gardening spots in my gameplay because I just like to make it easier on myself and I guess my sims. But yeah, and then I just add like a little grill. I added those little from the eco lifestyle, those little bug houses where you can like make your own fuel or like I think it's like meal, like cricket meal and stuff like that. So I don't know. I just figured those were like perfect for the Sim too because it can add to your Sims like what they can eat, like the simple living type of thing. So I just thought those were a good thing. And then I added like an outdoor laundry area because I figured this house was too small to have an actual laundry area in the house. So I figured like the little outside like laundry where you can hang your clothes up and stuff was perfect for the Sim. Because, it's like I said, it's like simple living, so they just go outside and do their laundry. But yeah, now we're moving on to the greenhouse. This is where I'm going to have like all the planters. I did these standing ones, and then I did like little boxes, and then I ended up doing this like, I think this one's kind of expensive. It's one of those like hydro something planters from I don't know if that's Seasons or Eco. It might be Eco Lifestyle. I can't remember. But I didn't want to have too many of those because I figured like maybe your Sim saved up the money just to get like one good like planter to help them out, but then they still have to do the rest of the work like on their own. So I just figured one was like perfect because it just kind of like fit in that corner. And then in the back I did trees. I think it's like a apple tree, a pear tree, and maybe a cherry tree. I don't remember exactly what, but yeah, I just figured like these, and I used ones in debug that were already like sprouted or already grown, like fully grown, because I just for the save, I just wanted it to look pretty, and for the pictures, I wanted the trees to be already grown. And when I save the house to the gallery, I'm gonna have my sim plant all the vegetables and everything I planted in the greenhouse. So it should all be ready to go when you download it. Your sim can just garden it already, but you'll see me later on. I'll just plop some vegetables in there, and then, like I said, I have my sim grow them. But yeah, I ended up adding one of those little rabbit, also those little rabbit stumps, so that they can help you with gardening. And then yeah, like here I'm just adding this little bench because I just thought it fit perfectly. And then I wanted a skill building item in here also. So I decided to add the flower arranging table because I just thought it was perfect. Like, if your Sims are growing flowers and they can make their own flower arrangements and maybe even sell them to make money. So I just thought it was like a really good skill building item that just fit in this room perfectly and, gave you some gameplay to go with this house. Um, I didn't add much other. Well, I guess you could sell items. You could sell your plants and you could sell stuff your animals make and stuff like that, but I didn't add like any other skill building, I don't think, in this house. So this might just be the only one I have. But then, yeah, this little bench, I just put some little like knickknacks and little planting stuff on there. And I added that little book there because I just thought that was really cute. I just thought maybe your Sims like writes down their plants or like, what's their daily thing they're doing in their garden. I just thought that was like a cute thing. And then here I'm just using the tool mod, and I just like took a rake from Debug, and I decided to just like tilt it upwards and lean it against the wall because I just felt like it went with the house, and you're raking leaves or you're raking your garden. I don't know. So I just thought that would be cute. But yeah, here I am just adding the all the vegetables and the fruit and stuff that, like I said, my sim will grow. So when I save it to the gallery, it's already ready to go. But I just shifted the pots over a little bit because I wanted to make sure that the sim could get around all the sides. And I did play test this, and my sim had no issues. She was able to get around and plant all the plants, water them, like, harvest them. So it should all work perfectly in the game when you start to play. But yeah, now we're getting to the inside. It was it was really small. I didn't know how I wanted to furnish it, and I did have some issues. Everything seemed to pretty much work. The only issue I had is later on you'll see I placed a bookshelf. For some reason my sim could not get to the bookshelf. I don't know why, but I figured if you open it, you could just drag a book to your sim's inventory and they could just read that way. I mean, if you want to delete it or find a bookshelf that fits that works better, you could do that. But I just left it because it looked pretty on that wall. But like I said, I just dragged the books to my Sims inventory and they just read the book that way. So I didn't think it was that big of a deal. But here we're moving on to the kitchen. I actually use these counters from Island Living because I really like that waterfall type of counter look. I don't know, it looks like this house isn't very modern, but I thought it added that little bit of I don't know, like a modern touch to this kitchen, even though the other parts of it are a little older, a little farmy. So I figured maybe like this was like an old farmhouse that kind of your sim maybe renovated and just updated the appliances and the counters and all that kind of stuff. So I don't know. I just figured that little bit of modern. I use the Dream Home Decorator couches and stuff. So I just figured it was adding a little bit of look like a little bit of renovation to the house that maybe your Sims did. But yeah, and then I decided to do two tones. I don't normally do two tones in a kitchen. I've seen it done and I like the way it looks, but I usually don't like the way when I do it. But this kitchen, I just thought it looked really good with the black and white scheme that I went with. So I did the back cabinets black and I did the front white. I was going to do upper cabinets, but they were kind of blocking off the window and they didn't look right. So I decided not to do that. And then I couldn't really fit shelves. So it's just like the back cabinets and the front cabinets. If you don't like it, you could always just change the color of it. I just like the two tones because I just thought it looked good. But yeah, and then I did like the stove here on the island. I left enough counter space. Like there's one counter in the back and then these two on the side that are open. So there's plenty of space for your sim to cook or prep or whatever they want to do. I didn't clutter this kitchen up that much because it's so small. But yeah, I couldn't fit a curtain on this window and it was kind of driving me nuts, but I wanted to put something on there. So I know they have these little overhangs. They usually go on the outside of a build. They're like a little like, oh, what do you call that? I can't think of the word. They're like a shade. I know I'm not using the right word, but I just thought they looked really cute in this house and it just added like, I don't know, that like old timey, like something that like maybe would have been in the old part of the farmhouse. So you just kind of left that part of the kitchen, but renovated the rest of it. I don't know if I'm explaining that right, but I just thought it looked really cute with these little like shade things, and the green color matched the curtains and the little bit of green wall I left in the living room area. So the colors fit perfectly, and I just loved how it looked. So I decided to just leave it because I just thought they were so cute. But yeah, like I said, here I did the kitchen. I only put a little bit of clutter in there. I didn't fill up the counters too much because, like I said, I wanted it to look lived in, but I didn't want it to be overly cluttered where, I figured like your sim is kind of simple. They don't like, they don't have too much stuff. They're not like hoarders. So I just figured like they just have a little bit of clutter, like, and just enough to look lived in, but not overly done. Because I know in most of my builds, I can go way overboard with clutter. And I get out of hand, and even sometimes it just drives me nuts too. I'm like, I gotta slow down with the clutter. But yeah, here's the kitchen. I didn't do a lot. I did like a little microwave, a little um, fridge and all that. It's nothing like there's not too many appliances. There is a dishwasher and there is a stove and an oven, so there's plenty of stuff to have for your Sims to cook. I think I forgot a fire alarm, so you might have to add that. I just thought of that. But yeah, I deleted the seats that I put against the island, and I decided to just put a little dining table over here because it's probably like a two sim home, so they don't need that much seating anyway. And I found those chairs. I think they're not debug, but they're an eco chair that your sim has to build, I believe. They're not just something you can like find in the catalog normally. I mean, I have um, the Better Build By mod, so I just have everything open on there. But I just love those little rose like pictures and like the little details on the chair. I just thought it fit perfectly with this color scheme. So I love those chairs, and I had to put them in here. But yeah, I think your Sims can just build those with eco lifestyle too. So if your Sim has the skill, I guess it's like the building, like the handiness skill, you could probably just build those too. But I just thought they were so cute. And I figured, like I said, I kind of went with the theme of the Sim I had in mind for this house. That they were just kind of like, handy and they garden, they build stuff on their own. So it just fit perfectly. But here, I was going to do that trick where you cover the front of the cabinets with like the wood cutting board from the kitchen stuff pack. But then I thought this is such a small house that those baskets on the actual counters are perfect because in such a tiny home, your sim needs extra storage anyway. So I just left it because I just figured it's like storage is a tiny home. It actually fits perfectly. And then here I just did a cute little backsplash. I think that's from the Parenthood pack, that backsplash. I just figured like it had like the greens and the blues in it, and it just like looked really cute. And then I just used the wooden post to just break up the room a little bit, and I did that with the living room too. And here we're moving on to actually decorating the living room. I did like a little build out on the back of it for a fireplace in that corner, so I knew I wanted to put a fireplace there. And this one from Eco Lifestyle just fits perfectly. It's like the perfect size to just fit in that corner. So I just used that one. And then here I use these couches from the Dream Home Decorator pack. And like I said, they just added that little bit of modern to this house to just kind of like make it a little new. Like your sim, got new furniture or whatever to do this house and stuff like that. And then this little chair, I believe it's from the high school pack. This little like ottoman type thing, and I just love that little swatch on there, that blues and green swatch. So I decided to put that in the corner. I'm not sure if the sim can actually sit on that. I don't know if I play tested it or not. So that might not work as like a seating thing, but I just thought it was really cute as like a little decor thing in the corner. It just like I like the colors, and I just thought it looked really cute there. And I put that little garden like stool right there in the corner, as you could see, but I don't know if I changed it in the video, but in the screenshot you'll see I actually deleted that because like I said, I added a dog into my family. So I took that out of the corner and I put a little dog bed in there instead. So if I didn't put that in this build, just so you know, in the screenshots, it'll actually be a dog bed in that corner instead of that little planter thing. But I play tested it. The dog can go sleep on it. He can get over there. So it works out. So I just wanted to say that because I think I end up showing like I put the feeder and stuff in the video, but I think I forgot some stuff for the dog. And I just figured I'd let you know because it definitely shows in the screenshots. I just, I happen to forget some things when I'm doing it. But yeah, and now we're just moving on to like the little hallway. Like I said, I just added stuff like this little shelf with the little dog leash. I just thought that was cute. That's from the Cats and Dogs pack. And then I added that little, I love that shelf over there with all the plants and stuff from it. I think that's from the Eco too. I just love those hanging plants and like the picture frames, and it just adds clutter to the build without having to put all the clutter in the build. Like it has it already built in. So I just love using that shelf in my build because it just fits perfectly with almost any build I do. I just feel like it fits in like your house. So I just use that a lot because I really love that metal shelving. But yeah, this is the bookshelf I was talking about. For some reason, my sim could not, like, she kept telling me she couldn't get a book off of it. I don't know why, because I moved the counters and stuff. There's plenty of space between the bookshelf and the counters and everything, but I don't know, it was giving me a hard time. But I just like the way it fit on this wall. It fit perfectly. I like the little bit of book clutter that, it wasn't too overdone. And then I added some magazines and some shoes and stuff to it. So I just didn't want to get rid of it. So I figured, like I said, you can always just put the books in your Sims inventory. But yeah, so since this is a single family, I added that little board from Parenthood. It's just a little board where you can like set curfews and stuff for your kids or write little notes. I just thought that was cute on that wall. And if it's like a single parent, maybe they write their kids notes and stuff. And then I always add that little fish tank on the shelf. I just love having a little fish tank in there. It just kind of adds to like the character of the house. But yeah, there I just added like the little plaything for the dog, like the little toy chest, which I'm going to end up moving anyway. And here I put like a little feeder because I just at this point remembered, oh, I didn't add anything for the dog. So it fit perfectly on the end of that counter. It works. I play tested it. The dog can get to it and eat off of it, so there's no problem. And the garbage can works. My sim threw out all her garbage, so everything works perfectly. So you shouldn't have any trouble when you play. Yeah, and here I just added a little bit more clutter to the shelving. Like I said, I didn't want to go overdone with it, but we're just going to move to the bedroom in a minute. But like I said, I made it for a single parent and a toddler, so both are going to be in this room together. The beds, I tested them. My sim can sleep in her bed. The other one can sleep in. So you shouldn't have any issues. If you don't want a toddler, you can always swap out the toddler bed for like a child's bed, I guess. Or I guess if maybe if you when she becomes like if she grows up, if you do a toddler, you could swap it out for a child's bed, and I think you should be able to fit a bunk bed in here too. So maybe if you could fit a bunk bed on this side, you could probably put two beds if your sim decides to have multiple children, and then you can have like a toddler and a child, or a child and a teen, whatever you want to do. So it should fit. I had enough room to do two beds. So you can see on the left that's going to be like the parents' bed. Like I said, mine's a female sim, and her child is on the right. So I just did like a little toy thing. I had enough room. There was like, I did this cute little dresser, which I believe is from the high school pack, and I just love the way it looked. It looked like a little sophisticated, but like natural wood. So I just felt like it fit, like, it was just like plain enough, but like fancy enough, Like I wanted the mother side of the bed to just look, simple, but like elegant, I guess is kind of the way I was saying it. But there you just saw I put the slide against the um, swing set, and I just like scooched it in so it looked like it was attached. But sorry to jump from one thing to another. But yeah, here I did the little toddler bed. There's just like a little toy and a little toy chest, enough for the kids to like have some activities to do. And then I just put these cute little pictures that look hand drawn for the kid, like maybe they stuck them behind their bed, like they drew them, and the mom loved them, so she just like stuck them on the wall. But yeah, it's very simply decorated. I didn't go overboard. It's just like plain white, but then I love this green wallpaper with like the plant look to it, because I figured, like I said, the sim in my mind is like gardening and loves nature, so I figured this like wallpaper was perfect, and it was busy enough where I didn't need to clutter the room that much with too much stuff to make it look even busier. So it just worked out perfectly because it just fit the theme, and it was enough to make the room look busy without having too much extra stuff in there. And then I just use these curtains. I think those are the new ones from the Oasis Spring kit. And I just love that little middle like shelving that you could do to like split up the curtains. So I just had to use those too. I really love those curtains. And that kit was actually free. So I mean, I know this build has a lot of different packs in it, so it's not just base game, but still, most of you hopefully probably have that pack anyway, so it should be okay. But if you don't, you can always just swap out those curtains. It's not a big deal. And then here's just a very simple bathroom that I did. It's just like a toilet and a shower and all that. You know, everything that they can get to the toilets. I play tested it. Like I said, the shower works. It's very small and very cramped, but they could definitely get to everything in the room. I just made sure I had a trouble with the toddler like toilet seat because I didn't know where to put it. I had it up against that wall, but then I ended up moving it to next to the regular toilet, and it seems fine because my sim could get to everything anyway. So you should be able to use it with no problem. But I was gonna put it outside actually, but then I was like, maybe you don't want your toddler sim going to the bathroom outside. Maybe that's a little weird. So I just put it up against the adult toilet because it worked and they could still use everything, so it was fine. And the bathroom's just simply decorated. I didn't go overboard. But yeah, so here I'm just adding some the the solar panels from the Eco Lifestyle because I figured I'd put that on the house. I added this like little wind catcher. I think it helps with your like your bills and stuff in the game. Like it brings down your bill like price, like how much you owe on the house. So I added that and like the little water catcher just to, so you save some money on this build because I know the house is a little pricey. But and then I just did this little outdoor seating area. I moved the dog's toy chest out front here, so as you can see, so they can get to it. And then I just put this little cedar, which I think that came from the high school pack too, the little egg chair. I just thought it was really cute. And like the little print on the pillow just matched this build really cute with like the leaves and stuff. So I just figured I'd add that because I just figured it was like an adorable little seating section for your sim to just look out, maybe watch the birds and have a coffee or whatever they want to do. I don't know. So I just added that. And then I added these little hanging plants, which I think are from Nifty Knitting. Because I just thought they were cute. Maybe your Sims made them and just stuck them out there in the front. And then I just do a little planter and a little like hanging plant on the door, like a little wreath or whatever. And that was it. Like I said, I didn't really over decorate this house, but I just thought it was cute to have these little like homey touches to it. Like maybe your Sim did it themselves and they just like decorated their house with their own homemade stuff. But oh yeah, and then here I did add a little debug fence. It's just like a little wooden fence. I believe it's a from the cats and dogs pack. Yeah. And it's just like a plain wooden fence because I didn't want to like put like a regular like fence that you can find in the game in there. I just thought this one looked really cute. Like maybe like it's the original fence that came with the house, and it's just like a little. It's not really run down, but it's a little worn and it looks a little older. So it adds kind of to that like farmy type theme to the house because like I said, I wanted it to be slightly modern, like your sim kind of like redid some of the house themselves and just made it look a little nicer, but I also wanted it to have that old farmy type look too. So I just put it like around the edges and I didn't finish it off there because I figured I'd just leave a little opening. But yeah, we're getting to the end of the build here, so the screenshot should be playing soon. So if you like this build, please like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Thanks, bye.